Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be showcasing up and discussing up the fact that there's actually some really big issues going on right now with the PlayStation 5. Some of them are also leading towards system crashes as well, overall big visual bugs, and kind of giving you guys the warning that this is even going on in the first place. I do think as of right now, Sony is in the process of trying to go and fix this, but it's like kind of a somewhat weird issue, as well as also something that we kind of really wouldn't be really expecting from a brand new console as well. It's a little bit of a weird thing to kind of go and show you guys. I'm going to give you guys the rundown on it because it's been affecting a lot of people. As I mentioned, it's not too bad. Like, it's not breaking consoles or bricking consoles or anything like that, but it is weird enough and somewhat bad enough to be aware of it. And there's also somewhat of a way, I think, to also avoid it if you guys can. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, welcome to the actual channel itself. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, or make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5 giveaway. We're giving out a PS5 to one of our subs. If you guys want to go do that, you guys are welcome to. Thank you guys also for clicking on the videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic Easter. If you guys go and celebrate, we'll have a few little videos all throughout the channel itself, but hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. Leave a like if you guys enjoy this. If anything, please leave a like just so we can kind of spread the information to other people as well. I don't usually like begging for likes too much, but I want you guys to be able to go and share up the news if we can. We also have the Amazon links down below with the disc and digital, PS5s, the Twitter and Twitch stream if you guys want to follow, and of course also the Weeble. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100. You guys go get free stock, free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100. You guys go get free Bitcoin as well. As always, the link down below. So as I mentioned, for all this type of information, we actually have some kind of big bugs going on right now with the PlayStation 5. This kind of goes towards a mixture of some things that have actually been found when it comes to the actual HDR issues, and also kind of is not necessarily like accurately reproducing the SDRs, which basically has led into either big visual problems when you guys are trying to play games, which of course, if you guys are trying to go play a game in the first place, that's just not good. Like, you don't want to be going and literally playing a game and having your game look like it's purple or something like that, like you're playing in, I don't know, Mars or something. But as well, also, we actually have seen some of these issues leading into like basically like a processing overload, which will go and crash your console, or just having issues where your console basically just gets just shut off automatically. Now, we're not necessarily seeing any long-term lasting effects on this. If it does crash, I think it's more so focused on the actual visual issue, but I want to let you guys all know that this is actually going on. So in case it happens to your actual console, you guys can know how to avoid it / fix it. Or if it actually happens to you in general, maybe it might be kind of nice to see whenever Sony gets the fix on in, because I do believe this is patchable and fixable. And while it's a little bit more of an annoying issue, it's not like the end of the world. Kind of how we had like that weird resting issue where consoles would get bricked from that. Or my also very first PS5 was actually broken when I first got mine as well. So as long as it doesn't necessarily fully break my console, it's annoying, yes, but it is somewhat preventable as well. So let me go dive in the actual video itself. So you have a few little things kind of go discuss on this, and essentially I'll even show you guys pictures as well for this video. But basically this is kind of just talking about how there's basically the Digital Foundry had some major issues with the PS5 not being able to go and correctly display the original SDR content, basically from the backwards capability. While it's possible to turn off the HDR for these games that do not support the feature, the PS5 does not accurately reproduce the SDR, according to DF's Alexander Badalega, which actually have his tweets. We'll show you guys the pictures over here if you guys want to see. And basically the issue can lead to changes when the console attempts to reproduce the game's true color or tone. So basically the major issue is kind of basically saying the game wants to go and showcase up a certain thing for basically the game itself, like what you're basically watching, but when it tries to go and reproduce it, it has issues where either it kind of goes and messes up with what you actually go and see, or in some cases we actually have seen major crashes as well. But that's more so, as I mentioned, more on the system reboot if that does go on. The PS5 is actually not displaying the original SDR content correctly. Unfortunately, does it with the backward capability titles for sure. It could lead to a black crush or other changes in reproducing the game's color or tone. It's not as dramatic as the limited versus full issues shown in the quoted tweet, but if you capture SDR on a PS4 Pro and compare it to an SDR on a PS5 of the same game, there is a difference which can be negative. So even though like there is a little bit of issues with crashing and other stuff shown on in, just the overall performance is also having issues, because why would you want to go play a game that's also backwards capability with backwards capability, whatever the wording for that is, when you can basically go and play it on the PS4 with no issues, and especially if the PS5 is actually reproducing it wrongly, that's just not good. Elsewhere, John Lineman also chimed in on the matter, observing that all captures for titles from DF and SDR have resulted in the Black Crush issues. Yes, it's been a real issue for us. That said, in this case, it's likely a full limited RBG issue, as the PS5 typically crushes darker shades rather than increase the black floor. The PS5 does not properly display the SDR. If we capture the same game from all PS4s and Xbox systems using the same settings, the blacks are crushed in PS5 and SDR. I'm convinced SDR output is broken. SDR and HDR container is better there. And of course, with the article, they just throw in the random. The PS5 was released in November 2020 in the United States and UK. It sold over 4 million units. That's like, I don't know why they randomly threw this on in for that. That's just out of the blue. So actually talk about the actual issue at the tweet itself. I'm surprised the article did not actually mention that. But basically, if you guys are kind of curious, and what we're seeing is that they're just not necessarily fully showing up the proper colors for it. As I mentioned, it's mostly an actual, more so like visual issue, but we actually have seen people have issues with it actually crashing as well. You guys just want to see the comparison. It basically looks a lot more washed on out, like the brightness setting and the contrast is set up too high, and it's just not a good look. But I do want to say I believe it actually can also be fixed or patched in future updates, so it's not end all be all. I'm just more worried in case there's ever any crashes. And kind of just like a secondary note with more additional information on this as well. Basically, people are saying that we have just had more issues. Like both the PS5 and Xbox released last November with a host of issues, which is true. I'm mostly a Sony news, so I'm more so just letting you guys know in case you guys run into this issue. It's kind of easy to go fix. You more so just don't necessarily have to want to mess around with your internal settings on that if you guys can. So like for a good example over here is basically the PS5 outputs as default, everything with a high dynamic range, which isn't necessarily bad, you know, if it doesn't have it as well on top on that. But I believe there's also a way because you actually can go and turn it off. This reported problem isn't a huge deal because the console's HDR can be turned off, but for whatever reason, the console's SPR output isn't right, so it's a major problem. So like I said, you can technically turn it off. I believe in your actual game settings, there should be a way to kind of mess around with like that, which is basically like when it goes to like the performance mode, etc., which you guys can maybe just go and actually have like completely X-nayed. But sometimes since the console does go in default to this, it can lead into some issues. And as we mentioned, we're not 100% sure exactly why. Like we're not 100% sure if it's more so based on like the next gen crossover, like a PS4 game to PS5, and there's like some weird like issue to moving over to the actual next gen, or if it's more of an actual Sony PlayStation 5 issue, which I think that's what they're trying to go resolve right now. But as I mentioned, if it works on the PS4, PS4 Pro, you can probably go make sure that they can somehow find the fix and be able to go make it so everyone can have the stuff all work perfectly fine in the near future. Basically, this is probably gonna be more of like an internal issue or more so maybe like a preset issue. Like, you know how sometimes like your thing is always set to like that one setting that's just not good. It can maybe go into that where maybe Sony can automatically go and change it. So as we kind of mentioned really quickly, we touched on this before, PS5 is actually not displaying the original SDR content correctly, unfortunately, which as I mentioned has led to mostly more on the discoloring and also just like lack of performance issues, but also potentially into crashing as well. Said Batalega does it with backwards capability tells for sure, could lead to a black crush or other changes in reproducing the game's color or tone. It's not as dramatic as the limited versus full issue in the quoted tweet, but if you capture SDR on the PlayStation 4 Pro and compare it to the SDR on PS5 of the same game, there are differences which can be negative. And my kind of final thoughts on this too is it does kind of stink because if I'm trying my best to go and basically go and play any games, especially for new gen games, like think like even like a Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone or whatever, I want to make sure my console's going to look nice, the game is going to look nice, it has more performance, and my also console does not crash. And as of at the current moment of publishing, and also by the time of me making this video too as well, it is unclear if Sony is aware of this problem, but Batalega isn't the only one who has noticed it. Which we actually, as I mentioned before, you've seen many people go and kind of make these kind of notes and these comments mixed on in. So hopefully, kind of my final thoughts as I mentioned, hopefully Sony will be able to go and fix this. I think it kind of seems like somewhat of an easy fix myself, but with people actually having some of their consoles go and crash with it, it's kind of nice to note that if it does happen to you, maybe try to mess around with the internals, maybe switch around to performance mode or different, try to just basically turn off HDR if you guys can and your console settings. More so, this is just if you also think your games don't really look that crisp, which if you guys are spending $500+ on a console, I want your stuff to work, not have any crashes or any coloring issues or whatever. So that's why I think the major fix that people are recommending right now or more so just, if you ever run into issues on top of that, maybe wait a few extra days. And ideally that Sony or anyone working with these companies can maybe get a proper patch note out to go and fix everything for you guys. But I want to report on this news. It shouldn't be like the end all be all. It's not bricking consoles where they fully break, but we've seen a few little cases of people having issues on either like their CPUs overrunning. Basically, it just can't like actually encode everything. It actually crashes the system, or just more so for the actual visual issues as well. So I kind of want to give you guys the support so you guys can either go and fix it or report it, or just be able to go and support it, or just be aware of it in case your console has some weird issues going on. So if you guys all enjoyed the video itself, I don't usually like sharing up bad news on Easter especially, but while you guys are going to have a fantastic Easter day, have a fantastic day in general. I love you guys all so much and hope you guys know how much I always appreciate you guys watching my content. As well, if any of you guys want to be subscribed to the channel itself for the PS5 giveaway or Sony news or whatever, we'd love to have you guys up on the channel overall. We also have the Twitter and Twitch stream link down below if you guys want to follow, the Amazon links especially for the disc and the digitals, just want to check and see for cancellations, orders, or warehouse sales. And of course the Weeble, sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, you guys go get free stock, free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, you guys go get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below. I'll see you guys up on the next one. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys up, and hopefully this doesn't happen to you guys because this does not sound fun. Love you guys.